Good evening. My name is Jonathan Blake. Currently, the Philippine government, led by Rodrigo Duterte, declared martial law on May 27, 2017, due to his war on drugs that has killed over 6,000 suspects that were suspected of being addicts, drug dealers, or involved in drugs in some way. Currently, the Philippines is unstable due to the criminal activity, the human trafficking, the smuggling, the narcotics, and the use of criminal activity between the Chinese triads, the Filipino gangs like Bahala, as well as even having the Sinaloa cartel involved as well, due to the smuggling of meth, for instance, through tea bags. Currently, the Department of State quotes officials including those in diplomatic missions, law enforcement agencies, and other government entities allegedly have been complicit in trafficking or allowed traffickers to operate with impunity. This has therein led to both law enforcement having the ability to enforce the law in whatever they want, while also the drug traffickers and human traffickers flying under the radar doing whatever they will, which has led to the Philippines currently being in a state of unrest. The threat to the U.S. this poses is, as the U.S. State Department currently has warned U.S. citizens to avoid certain areas in the Philippines, such as Mindanao, Marawi, and areas of the Sulu archipelagos and other territories. Consequently, due to the kidnappings, the human trafficking, the drug smuggling, the terrorist activity in the area, the instability of the theft, robbery, violent assaults that have happened over in those areas, while also due to President Rodrigo Duterte's war on drugs, this has also involved U.S. citizens having to be suggestive to avoid such areas that are on martial law currently, as well as avoiding gangs such as the Filipino gangs, as Bahala, Chinese triads, and the Sinaloa cartel. As you may know, that the Sinaloa cartel are known for kidnapping and smuggling, as well as the Chinese triads. These gangs and organized crime syndicates are known for kidnapping women, children, people of the LGBTQ community, which means gay, queer, bisexual, anything in between, as well as immigrants taken from the U.S. are trafficked through the Philippines alongside others that have been kidnapped or promised work or benefits, only to then be enslaved in sex slavery or labor. For example, recently in 2016, Rachel Edwin was kidnapped by Katrina Lacuda from her father, Elisha Edwin. Apparently, Rachel was going with her mother, and they were going on vacation to the Philippines, which her mother, who was Elisha Edwin's then girlfriend, had preemptively moved all her things, as well as everything that belonged to her, all the way to the Philippines already. And when she picked up her daughter, she left for the Philippines and never came back. Her husband has made several attempts. Well, her ex-boyfriend, has made several attempts to getting his daughter back, but has been unsuccessful due to the current presidency of President Duterte's war on drugs, martial law, as well as their inability to work with the UN due to the ICC's investigation of the two complaints for the humanitarian treatment of their convicts, suspects, and prisoners, which he has responded by pulling his country out of it. This has led to complications where he knows his daughter's all right, but he's unable to either see her, visit her, or hear her voice, which is very sad. Also, on top of that, those that are kidnapped are sent to other countries like China, the Middle East, and even South America, or even Russia, depending on who the buyer is. And as those countries could go from tier 3 to tier 4, which in those cases it is extremely hard to then get those U.S. citizens back, and thus the risk to U.S. citizens in the Philippines is increased to level 2, which is increased caution and avoiding certain areas. Based upon my research, my plan of action by using both the policies from the Crime Control Strategy and the 2019 Trafficking in Persons Report together as a way to prevent the international as well as the intranational crimes affecting U.S. citizens. These steps include being more actively involved in the UN Crime Commission, also strengthen U.S. borders, as well as stronger oversight of non-immigrant visas, while also better training of law enforcement along with foreign law enforcement so that both teams can work together. As if we are all together in the UN, it would only make sense for law enforcement to also work with foreign law enforcement to stop organized crimes that are coming from overseas affecting the U.S., as well as sharing information that can both help us and them stop their own organized crime from occurring both in their country and in ours, while also promoting the rule of law doctrine, therefore allowing both us and them having the similar type of rule of law to prevent and to deter criminal organizations and criminal syndicates from actually having power over governments or even deterring or harming our government while they're here. Next, having better oversight of non-immigrant visas, which will and can prevent fraudulent passports, human trafficking, smuggling of human beings inside, leading to my other point by strengthening U.S. borders, which will stop human trafficking as well as preventing it from occurring from within and along our border. Lastly, by getting the U.S. more involved in the UN Crime Commission, as we are already the financial sponsor of the World Customs Organization of 145 different countries, we will be able to better prepare, better organize, and better gain more oversight and more information on organized crime that are specifically targeting U.S. citizens of the United States in itself, thus allowing us to come up with laws, legislation, and enforcement that prevents and deters those organizations from coming anywhere close to affecting the United States, while also supporting our allies and also allowing them with the rule of law doctrine to stopping the organizations that are within their own countries, which also better improves us and allows us to be safe. Because if they're able to stop those organizations using the similar laws that we already have in our country, then they will be unable to even come close to harming us. These policies and these strategies in deterring and combating international and intranational criminal organizations and syndicates, as well as activity that may be occurring between the Philippines and the U.S., can in fact reduce the likelihood of the U.S. citizens being involved or being caught in the midst of the instability in the Philippines.